Checkmate. They're going to want to have a clean run so that they can really focus on what is, in theory, the most important games for them. They should see these as formalities, and the matches between themselves are the big important ones. Either way, we do have ViCi and NKT moving on to a Nuke, and the start is okay, actually, for ViCi Gaming in the end. It looked like it was going to fall apart a little bit there with a nice crossfire set up by NKT, but Jam Young just pulls out a bit of brilliance and finds himself 3, and that pistol round is over as quick as it began. And that was a massive stack on ramp from NKT. So I do wonder if they have been doing a little bit of VOD preparation.
Yeah, I mean, what was that, like a 15, 20-second round? Pretty quick one to start things off on the T side. And ViCi Gaming, oh boy, you're in for a treat if you like to see some great T side Nuke plays, because this team will just run circles around you on the T side of this map if you cannot stand up to the task. And already we're seeing just this up-tempo gameplay. They're zooming around the map, straight down secret. We see them do very quick vet drops, very fast uppers hits. So NKT will need to be on top of things and ready for some of those. Let's pick from Urcast on Outers. He's going to take a gun already off ViCi Gaming and start to throw caution to the wind here. But ViCi Gaming not feeling too contested. Have got that player down in secret. They're still holding on to lobby control. And they're going to start to try and see if they can suss out some gaps in the defense.
Dualies for impression. Didn't really see as many dualies as we might have expected, actually, when we were watching the Oceania IEM Fall.
Mostly reserved to pistol rounds.
Yeah. So I think that's probably one of the changes that hasn't really made the impact. Yeah, for A1S1, certainly a big deal, and dropping the nades definitely as well. But the dualies, feels like it's a bit of a meh kind of a thing. If you like the dualies, it's good. If not, you're probably not going to buy the dualies anyway. This round, though, is starting to get a little bit problematic for ViCi Gaming. Orman does well to control that spray onto Zion, and also catches score out as well. So impression with the dualies is actually not going to be able to have the impact he would have wanted to, given the fact that ViCi has gone down toward B. He's going to pick the pace up, though, with a Mac-10. He knows that both of these players are tagged up a little bit. If he can catch one-on-ones while the bomb is being planted, there was a chance. But he didn't have any head armor. And NKT will drop the second round, though they did some damage.
Am I reading this correctly? Are Tylo and ViCi dead even on RMR points?
I believe that's the case, yeah. Or at least close enough that that grand final is actually going to make a difference. It basically decides, well, maybe it's not the grand final, but the placement, the result of this tournament actually decides which one goes to the major, yes.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to matter for NKT either way.
No. NKT and Checkmate both can't. It's the same situation as what we had in Oceania.
That's spicy, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's great to be able to cover this event as well, because, you know, we covered a lot of those events where some of those RMR points were a thing, and you were, you know, really looking forward towards that major. So to see them actually finally duke it out for a spot that they were kind of gunning for a large portion of 2020 is going to be very, very entertaining indeed.
You know what's going to happen, though? ViCi's going to win, and they're not going to get their visa, and then Tyler's going to go. That's what I reckon is going to happen.
Yep.
For some reason.
Might be right. Yeah. Already seen that at Blast, haven't we?
Yeah, well, ViCi is going to make their way onto the A bomb site relatively uncontested. NKT once again went for the ramp room stack. But not going to be as successful this time as it was in the pistol. And to be fair, even then, in the pistol, it wasn't super successful.
Dude, I almost feel like for these Chinese teams, like the best of 3 with the visa office is often more difficult than the actual tournament.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably even more difficult in the case of ViCi Gaming when they have Kaze in the mix as well, you know, obviously from Malaysia.
True.
So not only is it dealing with the Chinese immigration system and visa system and offices and whatever that may be, but it's also the whole Malaysia side of things too.
Imagine sending NKT to a tournament, dude.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Nightmare. I don't think they're going to have to worry about it, at least for the major. So
whoever has to organise that, by the way, I mean, I applaud you. You need a raise if that ever ends up being a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, 4 alive there for ViCi Gaming. Off to a very quick 3-0 start. Nothing to really talk about in that anti-eco, so we'll kind of breeze past it as we head into our first gun round here in round number 4. AWP rolls straight out for Excurate. pretty good utility across the board. Zine is rocking the A4. Couple of players really not wanting to switch off. Interesting.
It is interesting. Obscure is going to start things off nicely, and there's a headshot onto Orman as well. So ViCi Gaming actually only have the 4 players to fight with in this round, and one of them is severely damaged. See a wrap coming through from Orman to Warehouse, but he's not going to kind of push the issue all that much. Zion, in the meanwhile, has also killed Advent. So this round's kind of just falling apart a little bit for ViCi Gaming. They've tried to set something up, but they haven't even really been able to get into position to play the round out before they've lost a couple of players.
It's got to be Jam Young here to have the impact. If Orman could find a pick, that would have definitely helped out, but at least he's created space for Kaze to trade him out, who will join up with Jam Young down into lowers. Vent rotation not being held by Jam Young. Instead, he's trying to dig his heels into windows. He's got a lot of utility to try to facilitate this plant going down, and for the most part, NKT committed to uppers. It's only Score who's really watching the cross, but that's all that's needed, apparently. That's a great timing to be hitting.
Yeah, well, Kaze is at least going to be given the bomb plant. But a 1-on-4 for the post plant? Well, I don't know. Kaze, he's a bit of a superstar, but in this situation, it's going to be incredibly tough. AK in hand, he works his way up to control room, does dispatch of the first. Pieces of the puzzle starting to come together for Kaze. Pops the flash down, defuses on, but it's a full 10-second defuse, so he's got time to work with. But I think time has run out. He did a little bit of damage on the way out for ViCi Gaming, but in the end, NKT will win their gun round and get themselves a nice big number 1 on the scoreboard, which, you know, it doesn't come too late, definitely not. And they're in with a chance of starting off the half in a pretty good fashion.
Yeah, what to do in this buy though. ViCi Gaming, Jam Young was quite a bit poorer than the rest of the boys, so he's only got a Deagle to work with in this round, but apart from that, not too much you can complain about, with only 2 players surviving for NKT. Money is still fragile. It's reset potential again. ViCi Gaming staple seems to be every time very quick out of smokes. And they're just gunning it straight down secret. Throwing caution to the wind, just a wolf pack sort of mentality here. Zion scrambles down the fence and he's going to just dump you till try to get himself in a good enough position, and you can't believe he's gotten away with 1 there.
He almost gets caught on the top of the ladder, one of his teammates blocking it, but they do get out of there quick enough. And NKT will survive with 5. ViCi Gaming haven't managed to make any inroads into the B bomb site just yet either, but Jam Young certainly is waiting to do so. Smoke's going to go down. They haven't spammed the catwalk, and so that is going to keep Score relatively healthy for now. He'll just tuck himself into the corner. Jam Young checking, Jam Young looking, but he did not spot Score. And in the meanwhile, Urcast has managed to find one onto Orman as well. So the T side of Nuke for ViCi Gaming isn't quite going to plan just yet.
No, it's good to see some pushback early on for NKT. Slower start on the CT side of Overpass, but not to be the case here for Nuke. And there's definitely still some fight in these lads. They took it right down to the wire. I dare say if they made it into OT in that last map, then we would have had something to talk about. No guarantees ViCi were going to close that one out, but they got it just across the line with the Galil Force buy. And NKT, not only do they secure 2 on the trot, but with 5 alive, and I believe it was 4 alive in that last round as well. Oh no, it was only 2, right?
Yeah, it was 2.
So, but their money's still pretty good. What I'm getting at is money's good. They're going into an anti-eco. Money's probably going to get even better. And earlier on in this CT half, that's a very good sign.
As long as they get through this round pretty comfortably, which you'd think they should. There's only the 1 flash for ViCi Gaming, and they only have 1 upgraded pistol as well, so really not a whole lot to work with. And to be honest, the NKT lads, they're looking pretty sharp here on Nuke. Advent not able to get the better of Zion, who just does a 180. Very nice round for NKT.
Zooming down the vent ladder, spinning around in circles. Zion's feeling warmed up. That's always a very good sign.
Good sign for Zion.
Zion puns, am I right? Hashtag Zion puns. That's going to be trending for sure.
Yep.
All right, timeout for ViCi. Thank God, because that was cringe. I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry, chat. What does ViCi Gaming want to put together here? They could have gotten an AWP last gun round because you had a couple of players sitting at around 6k, but not to be the case this time around.
Do they often take the AWP on the T side though? I feel like if I throw my mind back, I don't really think ViCi's the team that tends to lean towards the AWP on the T side
I think Nuke they
that
do,
often.
because I remember Kaze opening door and picking Annex and stuff like that quite often. But there are definitely rounds where you'd want Kaze on the rifle. Sorry, not rounds, maps where you want Kaze on the rifle.
Hmm.
Because there's plenty of AWPers that have a bit more of a defensive playstyle and they sit back a little bit. But Kaze is definitely one of those players who is not only a proficient rifler, but he's definitely able to hit flip a switch where he can start just going in there into the trenches and getting some entry work done with the rifle, and he's quite difficult to deal with.
Yeah,
So,
Zoking and Kaze, the Smash Bros on the T side sometimes
yeah,
for ViCi.
for sure. And it gives them a bit of a different style as well. You know, when you get that different player, you change one player's kind of play style in a whole team, and it can give the team a completely different look and allow them to kind of make some problems for whoever their opponent is. Much slower kind of pace this time for ViCi Gaming, though. None of those very, very fast smokes being committed to or anything. Instead, it's actually the Windows smoke as well as the Annex smoke here. As that Windows smoke hit, doesn't matter. We're going to get an upper split.
Zion, tucked behind the back vent, is going to be put on fire. Does not actually have a smoke to put it out with, and so he's going to be forced out into the open. An easy kill for Advent, but the rest of the trades are coming through for NKT. They played that bait and switch quite nicely. Kaze, lucky to be alive at this point in time, but he's not expecting to execute it. Just sitting on the ladder with a P250, and gets his head blasted off.
I legitimately think that Excurate just no-scoped two people up and down the vents and got a kill with the P250. Like, I know that it's probably not likely we're going to get to see a replay of that, but that is pretty absurd.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I mean, that's a classic Excurate round, though.
You'll take it, though. You'll take it.
Yeah.
NKT up to 4-3. I mean, they've got the round advantage now, and money's actually building up really nicely on the CT side, so
For sure.
maybe we've underestimated NKT in this series. I think that much is already fair to say, but perhaps also on this map.
I think for NKT, for me now, it's a case of obviously the potential's there, but I just want to see them win. Just need to see some map wins, some series wins.
Impression. Holding nicely. Isn't really going to have too much that he needs to do in this round. Eventually, the rest of the lads will clean house. NKT, another solid round on the CT side. I don't think there's too much worth mentioning there, to be honest. ViCi just tries to send it into the A-bomb site. NKT do what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's an anti-pistol, so...
I mean, that's another one of these cases. I was talking about it a little bit on Overpass with the suicide entries and whatnot, where it's like, when you do have a team like ViCi Gaming who has some of these set plays that are quite utility heavy, the spacing is not going to be ideal. And if you have the CTs playing a little bit more aggressive and trying to take the fights in the choke points, then you might get shut out of the rounds. And I think that's another one of those cases where Impression inside Heart is making their life quite difficult. Very quick smokes off the bat once again for ViCi Gaming, burning a lot of utility early on. Urkas trying to one-way over the smoke and be disruptive, but I think ViCi are trying to hit an uppers timing this round.
Impression. Not able to do too much, forced away by the flashes, and this time ViCi Gaming have at least managed to make some inroads into the A site. This is better than what we've seen from them so far, but they haven't yet got the bomb down. And we're going to start to look towards NKT for their prowess on the retake here. Score is in an awkward spot. Doesn't want to go walking into lobby when there's multiple players watching from different angles already, though the A retake isn't quite working out. And Score isn't going to be able to do anything in this round. The rest of the action happened on the site as NKT tried to filter in there. And so ViCi do bounce back pretty quickly. Doesn't get out of hand.
Still money in the bank for NKT to keep rolling along, though. Nice exit from Score. ViCi Gaming, this is what they do so well on T-side and Nuke, just mixing up with the timings. That round was, you know, one of those outside smokes where previously they've been gunning it straight through outside, going straight down secret. Whether how much they're committing to that is quite ambiguous and quite difficult to work out on the CT side, which means you need to be rotating accordingly. But the alternative is they throw those outside smokes where you're used to be conditioning to rotate off, be a little bit out of position, and then they get the very sharp timing straight in towards uppers, and it kind of caught NKT a little with their pants down.
Oh, Execute had a chance there. And he might get another one here as well, depending on how bold Zoking is feeling. Perhaps bites off a little bit more than he could chew.
Yeah. He was running into the other team's spawn almost, trying to speed run to the other team's spawn on overpass. Maybe not working out this time. But Kaze, that's, like I said, a classic AWP duel that's been going back many years in Asian CS. It's Kaze and Excurate. And Kaze, once again, coming out on top. Puts things back into a 4-on-4. Now you're going to get the boost. You were asking about the T-side AWP. We're seeing it come to fruition here.
Oh, Gas is going to duck his head down at the right time, but he might pop it back up and spots a few. It's good information. Luckily, doesn't get it blasted off to gather it. Bomb plant does go down if ViCi can get their way into this B bomb site, but of course, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than it has been in the last couple to get into B because there's still 2 players there. I mean, you've got one starting to float back up to ramp, but still.
Well, you got the shuffle from NKT after losing that lowers control into lobby, trading places with the T's. Ormond's taking space to go and push straight into Heaven. So ViCi going to try to pinch uppers from Annex and Heaven.
Ormond's in a great spot. Spots the player out in Hut. It's still going to be difficult for ViCi to get the bomb plant down with all the angles that NKT are holding. Impression does eventually get traded down by Ormond, but now ViCi's going to have to scramble. They've got 14 seconds to get that bomb, and Zion is already pressuring into the site. The retake begins before the bomb plant has even occurred. Now we're back to 2-on-2. Jamyoung drops off the top of Hut, and Kaze covers off nicely. Urcast is done so. Jamyoung's position known by Zion. He's down to 1 shot though. 1 HP. Kaze still holding on to it with the AWP, but information looks like it's gone across that the pistol now does come out. Zion needs a double headshot. Well, actually, he only needed 1, but
if he wasn't so low there, I back him to close that clutch. That was such cerebral play from Zion. He faked the death cam and then he waited for Kaze to be concerned about the Hut wrap. And he found a nice timing there, but unfortunately he's too low for it to matter. So ViCi's going to pick up that round. Again, we have a opening half where things are quite back and forth. But NKT, they have really been drowning their economy from these double orbs. So need to find some success with them or they might be reset.
Another nice opener for Zoking, but very quickly brought back. Score is going to be challenged by a jumping Advent with a MAC-10. And Zoking actually does end up wrapping around behind, down through the B bomb site. Oh, the MAC-10 being put to good use by Ormond now. Guns are being chucked across all over the place at the moment. ViCi's making it work.
Yep, again, just ViCi Gaming with these pace changes. Not to mention the fact that Zoking found a duel that was won on outers against an AWP player. NKT, that round has gone definitely by the wayside. They had their opportunities to find those opening advantages. If they win that duel on outside, they get that pick towards ramp. Then I dare say this completely different looking round. But ViCi Gaming, again, they're just showing how comfortable they are on T-side Nuke. Just the pace they're setting. You saw like a massively quick play straight through outers. Got the very quick vent drop. Impression able to hold on to the AWP, so that's something to talk about. Should be pistols bought around the AWP. But like I was saying for ViCi Gaming, you had a quick vent drop, you had a quick play through outers and a ramp play as well, all happening simultaneously. It's just too much for your brain to process on that CT side sometimes.
What do you do here? Give the AWP over to Excurate. It seems like that was what I was going to bring up. Does Impression keep it because he had the armor, or does Excurate grab it? Glass cannon, whatever, I don't know. But in the end, it is Excurate. He'll take the AWP through for NKT. Makes a lot of sense, obviously. Eagle spam from Urcast is not going to quite find its mark, and ViCi Gaming might just try to neutralize the AWP as much as possible by going down to the B bomb site where let's be real. Chances of the AWP being down here this quickly, pretty low. Plant early for ViCi, and that's awkward for NKT. It's going to take a long time for them to hustle down to the B side, and they don't even have a defuse kit, Pilski. So chances of making this one happen are pretty slim.
Yeah, it's not coming together really. The lurking AWP on outside. Hello. Kaze spotted out Execute there and doesn't seem interested in giving him an angle or a fight.
I mean,
Kaze's
it could be a
actually
second AWP
working.
given over.
Yeah, what? I don't know what Kaze's thinking there. I don't think that must have been a hell of a timing because you see the riflers so quick to retake secret, and actually they will take that AWP back away from the CT side, but Kaze just did not seem like he was ready for that possibility.
That was, I imagine being scored in that situation. You just see the head pop up and then go back down and then you're dead.
That's soaking.
What are you going to do?
Can't do anything. It's too fast.
Fast and
ViCi
Furious.
Gaming. 7-5 lead here. Fast and Furious is a good way to describe them on this T side when they put their mind to it.
It is reminding me a little bit of Overpass though, isn't it? Like NKT off to a reasonable start. It looks like they're challenging in the first 7 to 8 rounds, but as we start to stretch a little bit deeper into the half, it seems like ViCi Gaming are coming out ahead on a more consistent basis, and we might still end up being here with a one-sided T side.
Dude, again, 15 seconds into the round, they just knife out through outers into lower. No contest. You've got a player. Where is Allman? He's sitting outside the vent or on top. Oh, he's on top of Annex. Dropped down from silo, I guess. And this is where NKT, like, they just have to react to what's going on very quickly and make sure that they're committing the appropriate rotations down because they don't know how many Ts are in lower right now. Could be 1, could be 4. So they've just left Urcast down there. Spirit's found Kaze, progression smoke to try to set up the plant, and Zoking is just turret, spinning on all angles right now.
Look at where Allman is as
acquiring
well.
the targets.
Like, Allman is just walking around behind. He gets a 1v onto Execute. He might get some more as well. Zion goes down. I mean, he's not expecting impressions still, but Allman's done his job, that's for sure. Round's over.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about. You might have thought that I was like, it was just a turn of phrase when I was saying ViCi Gaming in Asia look like they run circles around the other teams. But I meant literally, like, this is what you're seeing from ViCi Gaming. Just a step ahead, individuals fighting gaps in the defense and reading things appropriately. You've got very, very quick outers plays, very quick vent drops, timings on upper. It's incredibly hard to play against, I'd imagine.
Certainly looks that way. 8-5 scoreline now. Money's a bit awkward for NKT. Probably can't afford to buy through here though, so that is at least one benefit. And they've got a double AWP. So they can fight for the last couple of rounds here in the half, but you know, it still feels like this half is kind of on the teetering point, doesn't it, right? If NKT wins this round, they can still come back, make it 8-7, and that's not so bad, but there's just as much of a chance that ViCi turns this into a 10-5, and what a difference 2 rounds feels like it can make.
No doubt. Oh, Urcast this time. Felt like he had the better of Allman. It's such a messy duel for him to be winning. Drops down to 17 HP, but at least he's taken it. Now you get this progression down lower through Secret as well from Zoking. Knows that Urcast is low, going to bide his time behind the smoke. Extra looking for a pick on outside, but he's missed the timing onto Zoking. And in the meanwhile, ViCi Gaming biding their time into lobby. They may consider the walk down ramp up with that Secret player. Jam Young potentially was thinking about controlling rotates there through vents, but he had the C4.
Ooh. That's a bit of timing for Zoking. Just creeps around the corner as Score pops his head up with the AWP. And this could be really unfortunate for Score. He's not going to be able to spot Zoking coming from that angle. And once again, ViCi, they just, as you say, continue to run rings around their opponents. Urcast is able to answer. And this round looking much better for NKT at the very least. But there was a moment of worry for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Impression does a multi-frag there, that round falls apart. I really like what ViCi was doing. They have that one player probing lower. He gets a pick. I think teams worse than NKT would probably start to panic rotate at that point. But it's a good thing that Impression kept himself in position, was able to punish that creep into upper. But if just one of those players finds the right timing or finds the trade, that round definitely gets a little bit sticky.
Well, Okar's zone start off nicely. Starting to see the half get salvaged a little bit by NKT. Still, Zoking has something to say about it. Excurate pulls his Deagle out, but this is a dangerous game to be playing with a player like Zoking. Kaze was there as well to help out, and all of a sudden, we're back to a 3-on-3, and Zoking is still up to his shenanigans. Impressions left a little bit of room there for Zoking to creep his way into Z Connector. And I tell you who won't be happy about that. It's going to be Score in just a second, who will lose his life. And all of a sudden, it's Impression that's left solo. It's the minute details for ViCi that seem to be getting them over the line. And unfortunately for NKT, despite such a good start, the round seems to be out of their hands. Impression has to do it alone. We'll get a bit of a freebie there onto Orman.
Bomb's down and low up. He's found himself a Molotov, but he's also dropped into a Molotov. Kaze's going to finish him off, and ViCi, that's a great round of recovery from them that will bring them a 9-6 lead heading into the half.
Bit of an interesting first half there again. Very back and forth between ViCi and NKT. Good competition that we're getting to see between these two teams at the moment. But, you know, once again, Pilski, it is ViCi Gaming that comes out ahead by, you know, a fairly slim margin. I think based on the way that that half was going, it could have ended up ballooning out to double digits for ViCi. So NKT did well to pull one back, but still, and you know, I'd say ViCi is feeling pretty confident heading into their CT side here. And I'll hold that thought for the moment because we are just jumping straight into the pistol by the looks of things. NKT are not interested in messing around. They've got a bomb plant down, they've got a pick, and they've got Advent down to 10 HP.
Yeah, very difficult to get back into the round from this point. Retake flashes will definitely help out if they're placed well for Advent, but not really connecting on too many of the players. You're starting to see the retake come in from heaven and finding some space here, but that's where the Glocks at the close range do have the advantage, and it's all on Advent. He was actually late towards Annex side. Not sure where he's throwing those retake flashes from, but I don't think he's going to have too many issues in this round. Or rather, NKT won't have too many issues in this round. It's going to drive by him with the Glock. That's going to be 7 on the board for NKT. Maybe a step better than what we saw in that last half, but is it going to be good enough?
Well, I think a lot of that is going to come down to what they'll be able to do here in the second round. ViCi Gaming could well just throw another spanner in the works, and that might be a bit too much to come back from for NKT. We'll see, though.
That force buy-in. Whole bunch of pistols and armor. You got that scout for Orman rather than Kaze this time around. Kaze holding on to some extra cash to bring into that round number 4 buy. Make sure he can get himself an orb. Speaking of the man, down in towards lowers here. Definitely going to be contested by a couple of players. Just wanted to find a deagle headshot and fall off the line. Fall back on that smoke to buy time for the rotates, but he's not even going to be given the opportunity to do it. Taken out of the equation early on. NKT not committing down into lower. They know that getting that pick is enough to cause a bit of a ripple effect in the rotations, and they're going to try to take duels elsewhere, and they're rewarded for it. Great shooting from Impression on the Galil.
The NKT can do what they failed to do in the first map, and that is make a comeback happen and obviously get the better of ViCi here on Nuke. It seemed a far-fetched thing going into the map. You know, we look at the statistics, we know a lot about ViCi's Nuke, and we pretty much just said, like, if NKT wins on map 2, that would be an absolute miracle. But it's starting to feel more realistic. You know, the more that we're watching, I thought that their first half was okay. It was not too bad.
Oh, you're getting in Jinx territory, mate.
T-side's starting to get a little bit okay.
You just don't stop.
They're getting into the B bomb site, getting the bomb plant down. Anti-eco doesn't look too bad. Starting to come together.
Oh, man. Yeah, ViCi Gaming. Gotta let that one go. They picked up the scout as well, so that's an extra little bit of weaponry. Could get the pistol dropped over to another one of these players, and yeah, it's better than running into a round with the full USPs. That's for sure. Jamiak's still in the middle of the map. This man needs to try to get outside of danger territory, but I feel a little bit better now that I see him walking up onto the roof of the lobby. Oh, this is a dirty angle from Jam Young. I remember getting killed in an official on this line and just being absolutely livid. I think it was a CT who was there as well. And I was coming back up towards Silo or something like that. And it was very, very early on in the round. Like, I think it was literally like 15 seconds of the round. Man had pushed Hut and walked up the ladder or something like that. But, you know, that's low-level OCECS. This is a far cry from that. Two
Indeed.
of the better teams in the Asian region going head-to-head. It's a very close affair.
You're right. It's starting to get invested. It's not exactly the most difficult round still for NKT, but the fact that ViCi saves a couple of guns through makes them a bit more confident that they have, you know, that extra 10% chance in this round.
Even just a better chance at damage, really. Never hurts, even on the CT side, to just chip that economy down. Make things easier for yourself. Hello. Little foot showing. Zoking's got cankles on him. Poking through the vent.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate for him. It's going to give Zion a pretty easy double kill in the end. There's no sense of a trade from Orman He's just a bit too late, and he only has a USB, but Kaze has a bit more than that. Scout in hand, and Jamyoung finds another one with the Deagle. Oh, dangerous times for NKT. They're still headed towards the A bomb site. Looks like the bomb will drop down to B, though. That seems to be a bit of a better option for me. Bit safer to get that bomb plant down, leaving score up on A as well. I wonder what the timing looks like, though, for maybe Orman to creep back down that that vent. Completely cleared out A.
No doubt.
Kaze spots the head, and Orman just doesn't quite get the timing there on to score. But Kaze, I mean, he's in with a chance here, right? Scores on 41 HP. If he finds the angle, well, having now lost Jamyoung makes the life a little bit more difficult.
A little picked up. Might throw that over to one of the boys in the next round, but not going to be allowed to. Score's going to take him out of the equation, but... Oh, it doesn't actually end up going off. I was wondering if he was far enough from the bomb to survive there in terms of the radius, but I won't get the answer to my question. Round number 19, NKT do take a lot of economic damage off the back of those saved weaponry, so that's why not worth it going for those retakes sometimes. Towards round number 2 after the force buy, if the initial round doesn't go well for you, just saving those guns over can end up having a consequence. You see a couple of plays on NKT looking a little poorer here. ViCi Gaming into their first gun round. A lot of utility dumped early round. Try to prevent any quick plays into upper. Aggression straight into radio room in the first gun round for ViCi Gaming. They're not playing around.
No, Kaze wants to take matters into his own hands, I'd imagine. He's got Jamyoung there as well to back him up. This is a very dangerous duo to be going up against, and Urcast is going to find out exactly why. Zion will also follow suit, and that has gone about as good as it can for ViCi Gaming.
My God, not the start to the round you were looking for. 1 minute 10, you're sitting in lobby thinking about, how's this mid to late round going to go for us? I wonder what's the call we're looking for. You just lose 2 players like that, blink of an eye. Pression trying to recover things on the outside. He's got a couple of friends to help him out. Orman spots those players out, but on a headshot line, you could just spam away with this new A1S. Bullet spread is absolutely nothing. Made Orman's shots look quite easy for him.
Well, not going to be able to get too much done there, and that's a very nice gun round for ViCi to win. Really helps the economy. 4 guns alive, and that's exactly what you need at the start of your half, particularly after losing the pistol.
Yeah, I mean, and that economic damage now, it comes to be quite relevant. 1 or 2 of those players looking pretty poor. A couple of guns have to be dropped over for NKT, and effectively, now they don't have too much money to work with across the board. Everyone's sitting at around 1k or under. So good job from ViCi Gaming. Setting the pace early with that aggression. See how they play now. You're getting at Kaze very aggressive in heart. ViCi Gaming super unafraid of just taking these early duels.
Oh, and Kaze almost gets caught on the windowsill or doorsill, I suppose, as he tries to jump out of hut, but he does at least get out okay.
Oh, this is just huge. ViCi Gaming just bullying NKT, not letting them play their game at all. AWP going on the line, and then a rifler ready to play accordingly. Spam through the smoke from Zoking. Last time around it was Jamyoung to find the pick, who is now trying to just delay at ramp. He's well aware that NKT have taken this part of the map.
This shouldn't be a round that ViCi Gaming is feeling all that bothered by at the moment. Got 2 players down on B, the other guys are up on A or sort of watching outer. Orman could be in a sticky situation if timing gets the better of him. Urcast is sort of just chilling at the moment, but looks like Orman has this one covered pretty comfortably and will get the better of Urcast. NKT now unsure as to what they can do because they've sort of been corralled into this Z connector, go up to heaven, but you'll have to deal with Orman first, and of course that's a lot of information for ViCi Gaming, and Kaze is just going to take a look down. It's literally shooting fish in a barrel.
I mean, they talk about like a 30-degree window in terms of the flicks, but you're definitely eliminating the majority of those degrees when it's just a square and it's just shooting the square. Okay.
Extra
Jamyoung
banged out.
I mean, a bit more of a rectangle with that ramp opening, but still pretty easy for him to convert that shot. great to watch ViCi Gaming these first couple of gun rounds on the CT side. They are aggressive. They're looking to take early momentum in this half. And if you step into NKT's shoes for a second, you know, this is going to be quite troublesome. You know, you've seen this aggression on the CT side early on. You're trying to get your mid-round working for yourselves. Think about how you might want to adapt. And now, all of a sudden, you're playing catch-up to ViCi Gaming.
Unless you pull off a round like this. Decent start from score. Kaze with the AWP, though, is able to lock down outer, and NKT can't really make use of that area of the map.
Have you been watching any of the Kaze streams, by the way?
Yeah, I tune in every now and then.
Like, whenever Kaze makes a big play now, all I can think is that he's just laughing. Because that's what he does on his stream. He gets like 5Ks, like the sickest kills you've ever seen, and he's just laughing. He's just giggling.
It's too easy for the man, isn't it?
Everyone's just reacting to like how sick his individual skill is. And now I just think in officials, he probably just does the same thing.
I think he's done a pretty good job of sort of starting to build that brand up a little bit, you know. I see him streaming a lot. He gets a decent amount of viewership. He's posting on YouTube every now and then as well, if you didn't know. So that's good. That's good. From someone who, you know, didn't really have that much of a social media presence at all, especially. And Urkast is not going to get away with much when Kaze is watching. This could be awkward, though, for Mr. Jamyoung. There's a few more players than he might have expected rolling around that corner, and Kaze now is the one that has the job to do. He's been chased into outer. I don't know that NKT can win the round from here. They'd really have to move quickly into the A bomb site, and these entries will have to be perfect, and, well, unfortunately they're not. But it's still a costly round for ViCi.
12-9. Good news for ViCi is they've had a couple of clean gun rounds in a row, so the economic damage inflicted by NKT, while not irrelevant, is not going to trouble them in the short term. Now NKT, this is what I was talking about. First couple of gun rounds, you've seen aggression time and time again for ViCi Gaming. They're going to take a timeout and have a bit of a chat about what's going on. It can be way too easy as an in-game leader on this T side when the other team's aggressing on you to tunnel vision on that, to turtle up and try to eliminate risk. But, you know, really you need to be able to find a balanced solution that isn't just sort of turtling and digging your heels in. Because there's no guarantee that ViCi isn't just going to go to a more standard setup from here.
Money hasn't really ballooned out too egregiously on that CT side. So NKT, if they're able to put a couple of rounds in a row together, they can very quickly equalize that scoreline. This would have been a great start if Orman would have dropped there. But it's already not so bad.
Almost taking Orman out of the equation himself there. Or was I misseeing?
I don't know, but maybe you're right. I mean, 3 HP for Orman. He is lucky to be alive, whichever direction it came from.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all, Jordan?
Yep.
It's lucky to be here watching some Asian CS again.
I thank my lucky stars every time I get to watch Asian CS, to be honest, because they the opportunities come less and less these days.
For sure. Got some L smokes on outside. Score going to be sent to probe a little bit. Not helping him out, really, that he's getting flashed by his teammate. But the rest of NKT very heavily set up in lobby. Doesn't even look like you're going to get the lurk on outside. No secret pressure, no creep through to Annex. And ViCi Gaming aggressing on lobby after seeing those outside smokes. This might have been a great heads-up play for NKT.
Oh, once again, it's the double stack into radio, but it hasn't quite worked out. Now Jamyoung has a bit of work to do. He's got to fall. It's a too dangerous spot to stay in, and now Advent has to hold from the site itself. He gets the headshot onto Impression, but not the kill, of course. It's the M4 A1S. Jamyoung drops down off the rafters, cleans up Urkast, and Impression can just about get the bomb plant down, but it's now a 2-on-1 for score to finish off Orman, 3 HP. He's going to be the one that will have to break through that smoke, but he might be the difference maker. Gets the timing perfect, and a couple of bullets sent in the direction of the body as well to let NKT know exactly what's up.
Not sure whose read that was, whether that was Impression or maybe MYM in the coach, but it felt like NKT, a little bit of a read, a little bit of a counter strat there. They've already seen the tendency from ViCi Gaming to be a little bit aggressive. And that round, like I said, they throw the L smokes on outers and not a single person intended to use them. They're all sitting in lobby, they're all holding angles, waiting for that aggression out of ViCi. And it almost went well enough for them to win the round, but that's where Jam Young in the XVX, very switched on, always good at making the right play at the right time, and he's able to dig deep, get ViCi out of what actually started off as a pretty good read from NKT and a pretty rough situation for the CT side. Now the half buy in here for NKT. Gonna give things another crack.
Well, Zoking and Advent seem perfectly poised to deal with what NKT is throwing at them.
So good to see Zoking in this form, man. Remember those periods where we were like, Zoking on ViCi might not even be for the best, but I think we're very long way away from that now.
Kaze dropping score is going to make the situation look even better for ViCi. Jam Young wasn't quite expecting that one. Knife
That
in
was
hand.
his smoke.
Well, an AK-4 cast. And an entryway into the B bomb site now as well. Maybe Urcast can bang a couple of heads off. But he's only got 40 seconds left to do it with. No head armor either. It's going to mean that that M4 might as well be an AK. It's also going to be the one that has to plant the bomb, so AK is not going to be put to good use here. In the end, maybe I lie. He does get one. Extra at Tech 9 can't really lock it down. It would have been a really tough ask. 14-9. ViCi step one. Well, put one foot closer, and they're only a couple away.
Getting to this kind of scoreline again where it's going to take a bit of a comeback for NKT. They showed the tenacity to be able to do it over on an overpass. That was on the CT side though, and at the moment, I mean, they've had a good read post-tack pause once, but for the most part, it has felt a little bit like NKT have been behind the 8 ball, not only on their CT side, a little bit, but more so on this T side. How's this round going to be looking? Seems like NKT want to hit this very quick timing into upper. Initial duels, not going too badly. Zoking just diving straight through the smoke, but nicely punished, and that's going to give NKT this site, but they're taking their time. They're not rushing the plant or anything, Jordan.
Yeah, don't mind that, to be honest. Just giving ViCi a little bit of pause for thought. Orman's wondering what's going on outer. Is there someone creeping in my direction? Kaze is now mollied off. Jam Young still down on B. He actually does catch the timing on to score. Brings it back to the 3-on-3, but his position now known. Kaze's obvious as well. You're always expecting someone to come from heaven, and with the AWP, let's see what Kaze can do. I feel like Orman's the X factor, but he's going to have to be quick. He's worked his way all the way back through T-Spawn and has managed to get behind Excurate. That is what ViCi is waiting for. He spotted one out, but didn't progress forward through Squeaky. Jamie, what is that? What is that turn? And he might just get the spam through onto Urcast. It's not enough anyway. The time would have run down, but what was that turn? And I can't believe he actually gets away with that headshot from the
Fade
USP
away
as well.
headshot,
That
dude.
is just BS.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. NKT, though, that's a bit better for them. They find a nice timing when there's only two players in upper. They get the entries that they need. After seeing Zoking just unhinged, dive straight through that annex smoke, they were a little bit nervous about planting, but once they got into the post-plant, although things got a little bit spicy for a moment, they secured it. Now into the double digits, and within touching distance of resetting that ViCi Gaming economy. In fact, both teams quite low on the money, which when you're so close to match point here, ViCi Gaming is concerning for the T's.
Not as much success early in the round this time for NKT.
Well, one thing they do have going for them is that ViCi have burnt through a lot of this utility early round, and they don't have these super aggressive positions that you've seen in some of these other rounds. So NKT going to be allowed to get a little bit more space. Out come the L smokes yet again. Score going to Molotov secret. But it doesn't really seem like NKT care too much about this outside control, really. Again, it's just score, throwing that utility, and then just backing away back towards lobby.
It looks like it's going to be again another trophy push from ViCi Gaming. And again, it doesn't quite work out. Expected by impression. Kaze didn't hit the shot. Soaking now takes the opportunity and gets a spray onto a couple. But Advent's position, not known, still well handled by impression. And that round, oh man, I think NKT's getting through that one by the skin of their teeth, because there was really a couple of moments where ViCi could find some kills.
Hold on. I've got my eye on Jam Young. He's still in ramp here. A lot of players heading toward him.
Yeah, he's going to double down. Up. Impression, Urquhart score. They're all falling. Jam Young might have done it himself. Puts the smoke down in ramp and just fades away. Happy to play the 2-on-1. You called it, Pussy.
Ballman, I think he's behind the other player as well. He's on top of Hart. This should be an easy kill for him. Side's got inside the smoke, but Allman's going to take him out. And that is a round that NKT should never be losing. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's another tilter, isn't it? And it's just another one that you can put in the back pocket for NKT, isn't it? You know, they lost 16-14 on Overpass. It looks like it's going to be a close loss here on Nuke as well.
They've got a good read. Like, you can see, they're throwing this outside smoke. They know that ViCi Gaming is going for the lobby crunch every time. They're ready for it. They're set up for it. They're sitting in lobby, guns in hands, holding angles, and they ended up in a 4-on-2. Both of those scenarios, they've been ready for the aggression, but they're just not putting the rounds away, mate. Someone's done the demo work. Someone's done the anti-strat. Game plan is sound, but they're just not winning the post plants. Once we get towards the mid to late round, we're making some misplays. Unfortunately, seen a lot of tack timeouts come out here. NKT, you may as well use them, because you don't get any more once you lose the series. I'll tell you that.
Well, maybe in the lower bracket.
True. We'll give them a couple there. I don't know if they're going to need to use as many of them in the lower bracket. Yet to be seen what kind of form Checkmate's in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because you say that, but they actually lost to Checkmate in the closed qualifier and then got a forfeit win because Checkmate had some extra people in the players' room, which, of course, because we're part of the major ecosystem here for the RMRs, they weren't allowed, you know? So I think they went down 2-0 in that game, and then they got the forfeit win, and then they ultimately ended up beating Wings Up in the upper final, and they didn't have to play Checkmate again. So
I mean, from some of those Mongolian photos and videos of Mongolian boot camps that I've seen, everything's so cramped up they might not have anywhere to actually put the rest of those people. To be fair,
well, either way, I'm not sure NKT will be feeling hugely confident going to Checkmate, but that's something that we can talk about when we get there. If it is indeed Checkmate, Jam Young, Kaze certainly look like they're going to be sending NKT down into the lower bracket, because this round is convincing from ViCi Gaming, and in the end, it's a 16-10 result on